What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, and I want to go ahead and do a fun little video for you guys. I want to go ahead and do some summer book recommendations to give for you guys to read this summer, along with what books I want to read this summer that I'm so excited since we are now approaching summer, and summer books just hit different. They're fun, just romance books that everybody just kind of gets hooked on. So I'm very excited for some of the summer books I do have to read this summer, along with me just sharing you guys some of my favorite books that I have read in the summer and that just give a great summer vibe. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. Okay, so first we're gonna just talk about books that I have read that are just my favorite summer reads, and books that I just enjoyed reading that give you get you in the summer reading. So we are going to start off with The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This was one of my favorite reads by them. I enjoyed this book. It hooked me right away. I actually rated this a 5 stars back a couple years ago. Probably if I read it again, I would maybe rate it a 4, but just at the time I enjoyed it and just read it. It was a 5-star read, but the cover is just so cute. Definitely gives off a summer vibe by them. They did such an amazing job with this book. Love the writing in it as well. But it's about Olive, who is the unlucky twin, and she has a lot of mishaps in her life, and she's always jinxed. And so her sister Amy is always the perfectionist, basically. And her sister is getting married, and then things kind of, a problem happens with her sister and her husband. So Olive has only things worse. That constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man and her nemesis Ethan, which is the other main character in this book. And Olive braces herself for a wedding hell, determined to put on a brave face, but when the entire wedding party gets food poisoning, the only people who aren't infected are Olive and Ethan. So her sister got infected, and so did the groom. So suddenly there's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. Agreeing to a temporary truce, the pair head for Maui. After all, 10 days of bliss are worth having to assume the role of loving newlyweds, right? But the weird thing is, Olive doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be. So yeah, if you guys enjoy kind of enemies to lovers tropes, this is definitely a good book to read, because they are enemies, and it's so good. I enjoyed it. It was the perfect summer vibe, especially because they're in Hawaii. So I do highly recommend this book. It is great, by Christina Lauren. The second one I have is called Every Summer After, which is by Carly Fortune. This was a very popular summer read as well, and she's a very popular author too. She has a couple other books out. Actually, I think another book is coming out by her this summer. I can't remember the title off of my head, but I'll put it right here for you guys if you are interested. But a lot of people have read this, but if you haven't, highly recommend this book as well. It's a great summer read as well. I think I rated this maybe a 4-star, maybe a 5 at the time, but it's a really cute book. She's a great author, a great writer as well. It's just saying, like, you have 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. So they say you can never go home again. And for Fairphone Fraser, ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of spending glittering summers on the lake shore of her childhood, she stays home in a stylish apartment in the city, keeping everyone a safe distance from her heart, until she receives the call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and into the orbit of Sam Fork, the man she never thought she'd have to live without. For 6 summers, through hazy afternoons on the water and warm summer nights, working in his family restaurant, Percy and Sam have been inseparable. Eventually, that friendship turned into something more before it fell spectacularly apart. When Percy returns to the lake for Sam's mother's funeral, their connection is as undeniable as it's always been, but until Percy can confront the decision she made, they'll never know whether their love is bigger than the biggest mistakes of their past. Told over this course of 6 years and 1 weekend, Every Summer After is a gorgeously nostalgic look at love and the people and choices that mark us forever. So it's one of those where, kind of like, not really childhood to lovers, but they knew each other a long time ago, and now they're trying to find their way basically back to each other. So I really enjoyed it. It's a great summer vibe. I highly recommend it. It'll definitely get you in the summer mood for sure, and it's just such a cute romance book. And the fact that you only have a weekend to get this right between the two of you, so it's really good. Highly recommend Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. The next book I have read is basically these last three are gonna be by the same author because I enjoy this author so much. So yeah, this is just gonna be a dive in basically of Emily Henry, which she's my favorite author of all time. And her first book I ever read of hers was actually People We Meet on Vacation. I love this book. This book is so cute. Love the cover of it, and I just love the side of it too as well. It's adorable. Definitely a good summer read as well. This was actually a good read to read in Florida. I think I read it in Florida. It was just a good beach book. I highly recommend this book. It's basically about two best friends, 10 summer trips, one last chance to fall in love. So Poppy and Alex, they have nothing in common. She's a wild child. He wears khakis. She has wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with the book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small hometown, but every summer for a decade, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together until 2 years ago when they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she would want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows without a doubt that it was on that ill-fated final trip with Alex, and so she decides to convince her best friend to take one more vacation together, lay everything on the table, make it all right. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything. If only she can get around the big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? I rated this one a 5-star. This was one of my very first, I think, 5-star reads, honestly, by Emily Henry. Like I said, I just enjoyed it that much. But it's basically about two friends that have known each other for a while and just trying to rebuild their connection, which I love those reads. I think they're my favorites, and just kind of knowing the history between them two and then trying to find their way back to each other. So this is a very good summer read. The fact that they go on vacation together and they're going on vacation again to try to reconnect with each other gives the best, I think, summer vibes on the planet. So highly recommend this book by Emily Henry. I know people have mixed feelings about this, but I think it was good. And I think other people would enjoy this book by Emily Henry, especially if you have read her other books as well. I think you guys would enjoy this one. And the next one, obviously, is Happy Place by Emily Henry as well. I love this book. This book is so cute. The cover is even cute. I rated this one a 5-star as well by Emily Henry. It's the best. I think it's one of my favorite books of hers of all time, out of the books I have read so far of hers. But it's so cute. It's just so fun. And I just highly recommend this book to everybody. Her writing just really got a lot better, honestly, as well. But it's about Harriet and Wynn, who have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, except now for reasons they're still not discussing. They broke up 5 months ago and still haven't told their best friends, which is how they find themselves sharing a bedroom at the main cottage that has been their friends group yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual respite from the world where for one vibrant, blissful week, they leave behind their daily lives. Have amounts of cheese, wine, and seafood, and suck up all the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Wynn are lying through their teeth while trying not to notice how desperately they still want each other, because the cottage is for sale and this is the last week they'll have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friends' hearts, so they'll play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Wynn will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. It's a flawless plan if you look at it from a great distance and through a pair of sunscreen-smeared sunglasses. After years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those who know you best? So yeah, it's so cute. I love it. It's a good read. It's fun reading about a group of friends and just still hanging out, and I love those relationship connections again, where basically they just don't like each other and they're all just trying to find their place in their friend group again. So this is really cute. I enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely reread this book again. So highly highly recommend Happy Place by Emily Henry. Okay, so then our next book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This book actually just came out in April, and it's a good summer read as well, even though I read it in April because I was so excited that this book came out. It's a very cute book, but not my favorite by Emily Henry, but it's still a good book. And the binding is also really cute. It has, I think, little oranges on them, or lemons. I think they're oranges, but still, they're so cute. But yeah, this book was good, a good summer read. I think I rated his like a 3.5 stars. Yeah, so it's good, but not my favorite by her. But it's basically about Daphne. She had a fiance, and then he basically cut off the engagement, and he fell in love with his like best friend from childhood, and his best friend from childhood had a boyfriend, and then they cut it off as well. So then Daphne moves in with her fiance's, now new fiance's ex-boyfriend, so they live together. That's kind of what it's about. And she's trying to basically find her way in Wading Bay, Michigan, without her friends and family there. And she's a librarian, but she is living with a guy named Miles, which is new fiance's ex-boyfriend, and they are opposite of each other, but they just try to avoid each other. Daphne and Miles did, and they start having a friendship together, and they both get invited to their ex's wedding, and they compromise and say, hey, let's let them know that we're dating. So it's a fake dating trope kind of book, and it kind of goes from there. So then they're fake dating and start hanging out more, and so yeah, that's kind of where this book leads. It's really cute and it was good, but definitely not my favorite of Emily Henry's. Happy Place is still one of my favorites by her, but still highly recommend this book. I think it would be a fun summer read because it does take place in the summertime as well, so I do recommend this book for everybody as well. Okay, so those were the books I do recommend to read this summer, and now we are going to get into at least 2 books that I am excited to read this summer so far that I do have with me, and I'm ready to share those with you guys. The first one is actually The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Fun fact, I actually just met him in Alabama last weekend at Mobile, Alabama, at the Haunted Bookshop. They were having a little release block party for this book, and so I was like, why not go and get a picture with them and a signed book by them as well. This was my very first author event that I ever did, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. They were super sweet, super nice. Love talking about the honeymooners with them a little bit. This is actually my picture with them. So that was a lot of fun, and it was just a good girls trip that I went on with. Fun fact, I actually did film a little bit of that trip, but then I did get sick. So that is gonna be a fun video that just kind of goes into explaining that whole author's event. So I am gonna be reading The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I think it's gonna be a fun little beachy read book. Love the cover of it. It's definitely a summer vibe. I'm so excited. Like I said, they're one of my favorite authors of all time. So I'm very excited about this book, and I don't think it'll be a disappointment. And now, fun fact, also, this is gonna be our June book club read. So I'm very excited to read The Paradise Problems. And then last but not least, I am going to be reading Beach Read by Emily Henry as well. Another Emily Henry book. I've heard a lot of good things about Beach Read by Emily Henry. I'm so ready to read this by the beach and the pool this summer for sure as well. I know this is one of her older books and a lot of people have read it. So I'm like, I need to hop on the train and keep reading these Emily Henry books. So I'm going to be reading Beach Read as well this summer, probably in June as well, just because I can't wait to read this book. But the cover is so cute, and it's about Augustus Everett, who's an acclaimed author of literary fiction, January Andrews writes best-selling romance when she pins a happily ever after he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative rust. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interviews surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Obviously, everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Really. So, I'm intrigued by this book. Like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about Beach Read. I think it was a lot of people's most favorite read by Emily Henry as well. So I'm very excited to read that this summer as well. And hopefully maybe you guys will be interested in reading one of these books that either just came out or it's been out for a while and you haven't read it yet for the summer as well. But yeah, so that is basically the books I do recommend reading this summer. Just get in the summer spirit. There's so many good summer books out there, even that have released this year, that I'm still planning on buying, and along with the books I am planning on reading this summer. And hopefully, if you haven't read them either, it interests you guys as well and gets you in maybe your summer read. And who knows, maybe the books I just shared with you that I'll be reading this summer will be your new summer read, or the books I recommended will be now your new favorite summer read and get you in the summer mood. But I love these books, highly recommend them, and also excited for my new summer reads this summer. And I cannot wait to talk about those as well. But that is basically my summer book recommendation video, along with what books I'll be reading this summer. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more content, and as Harry Styles says, treat people with kindness, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.